Mountain Dew GSL Season 1 Regeneration.
All right, we're back. It's time for the second best of three in today's GSL Codas. That was a really good match with Dark versus Hero. I think Hero still has a shot of surviving this group. He looked pretty strong. Going into this match here, Cure versus Deer, all the pros are saying that Deer's form is just excellent.
It is. Watch all his games. He's so killer, especially in this matchup. He seems unbeatable in PvT at the moment. Cure, of course, is on Jin Air, so he can learn from people like Trap, one of the best macro PvTers in the world, and SOS, one of the cheesiest PvTers in the world, and Maru, the best Terran in the world, right? So that's a good set of players. Yes,
Yeah.
there's also Creator, that's true.
Yeah.
Who's a strong player once again as well. But look, he's got an organization backing up that's very strong. The thing is, like, I feel like this is the year where Deer will finally live up to his hype again, because every year, everyone is like, yeah, Deer's one of the best, and then like he'll die when 2 units get sent to his base, and he'll be like out around a 32 or 16 or something, at best around an 8.
Deer's been a hard guy to kind of place in a lot of GSLs because he was a royal rotor, I'm like doing Elmer Fudd voice, a royal Woda. He won an entire GSL the first time he was in it, and then he ended up getting kind of moved to the back of the tournament as seasons continued onwards, and he's gotten deep in some GSLs since then, but overall I think he hasn't hit the marks he's wanted to as a player that was once a Codas champion.
Indeed, you're certainly right about that. He is not playing up to the standards he would put for himself, or even other pro gamers would put up to him.
All right, guys.
This season it might change, though.
Get your sextants ready.
Your sextants?
A sextant is what you use to navigate. Say it with me.
On a boat.
Damn. Port Alexander.
But you don't need a sextant unless your boat is ready as well.
That's true. We also have Kairos Junction and Cyber Forest. For our other two maps, our game is loading up. This is Cure versus Deer, game number 1.
Mountain Dew GSL Season 1 Regeneration. 게임이 시작됩니다. 포트 알렉산더. 게임 준비 완료. 지네어 그린윙스 큐어. 뉴비 디어.
All right. So already, what we're seeing is Deer not Scout. And this just means he's going to take a quicker Nexus, almost certainly. Just get really his economy going. He's got a pretty big range of PvT right now.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's quite the picture.
It's a good drawing. Now, in this in the current TVP meta, compared to last year, and I think a lot of this could be chalked up to Maru kind of figuring something out that everybody else is trying to catch up to. It used to be very common to be proxying constantly. Okay, and so a lot of the, no matter who you were against, it was very hard to get a good read on what's going on. Is it a faked proxy where it's actually closer to the other, to the player's main where they just fly it back home, or is it actually a super aggressive one? It's not as common anymore. When we go into 2019, we've seen the Terrans dial it back. And I'm assuming, because we had a few months of basically downtime here in Seoul for StarCraft 2 esports, so we didn't get to see as much of what was going on in the meta, but it seems like in between the WCS Global Finals at BlizzCon and the start of Season 1, there was definitely some shift.
Yeah, I think even before BlizzCon, it was already starting to shift, but then you add on top of Protoss is getting better, the fact that the Cyclone has changed quite a bit, and it just becomes something not nearly as scary. So, kind of getting TVP to a quote-unquote more normal place, like it used to be a bit more, which I think also that long period of everyone cheesing and doing all that, I think, took a bit of a toll on the overall skill in the matchup. Especially for Terran players that for a long time were playing very cheesy.
Yeah, yeah.
So, the Reaper coming in, getting a good scout off, sees that the Twilight is on the way. Starport already coming up here for Cure. One probe killed for that Reaper, but the Reaper sees what's going on, and that's really the important part of this.
That's right. And now we have Blink on the way here. Widow Mines are beginning to be placed. Our first one right here at the entrance. See if you can't get a free kill anywhere. What do you think about the fact that Protoss is going for Blink here, getting additional gateways at the entrance?
Just standard, you know?
Yeah.
This is just a good way to play. It's strong. You know, nothing too out of the ordinary. Obviously, you want that wall in case they're going for Hellions. If you don't have it, you're going to lose the game. So, pretty solid play. Deer always follows this up with the Robo.
Nope.
Definitely something you need to do.
Okay, the scout does come through here. There was Widow Mine hidden underneath the barracks there. And so far, a pretty good scout here. Robo, I think you just said this, Sartosis. Sorry, I'm repeating you. Robo on the way now here for the Protoss. And this is a very modest play. Now, let's see how the Widow Mine drop does.
Yeah.
Sometimes this does a lot of damage. Sometimes they each only kill one probe and are then gunned down. And that can put the Terran behind.
When it does that, it's obviously not very good for the Terran player, so you really want to get that done well.
This is really hinged on getting a lot of workers. And so, I'm sorry, did the probe spot that?
No.
This is kind of a funny angle. He could, if he wanted to, fly right into the natural.
I don't think he saw it. Maybe he just barely went over the low ground portion of that bridge and got spotted. Because it seems like the Stalkers are mirroring it pretty well.
Yeah, they're definitely... Since it didn't go into natural, they're going to rotate back over here into the main. The pylon doesn't quite see that.
Yeah, not yet to the last second, I'm sure. Oh my god.
Yep, so it's
beautiful.
Just carefully navigating through.
Oh, that's nice.
But Blink is done.
Yeah, if he sees this on the minimap, this is going to get slaughtered.
Here we go. It doesn't seem like he saw it right away. Everything is burrowing. Okay, and in fact, not bad at all.
No, that was really good.
Yeah, the fact that he blinked through there was really nicely done. And so that was 2 probes killed for 3 Widow Mines.
Yeah, it definitely did not do what he was looking for.
Yeah.
Behind this, though, a lot of bio being made. Not as many technical units, which is kind of neat, right? Because we see right now a lot of Terran players getting a Cyclone, getting maybe multiple siege tanks. But then the Protoss has been dealing with that pretty well. Instead, Kira really focusing heavily on Marine Marauder, getting some Medivacs out, getting Stim out and all that. And that's going to allow him to possibly put a bit of pressure on. That isn't a full committal, right? A lot of these siege tank pushes, you go out with them, and if you don't turn around halfway, a lot of times Protoss just kills them no matter what.
Very true. Storm on the way here now. 5 more gates. Keep in mind, Stim is not quite done. It's about halfway. So it's you basically can't chase Stalkers without Stim. Because they can always blink away. Your units are not healing, especially with no Medivacs here. So at this point in time, Deer's going to be able to shave off a decent amount. Now here come the Medivacs. Stim is almost done, and this is where Deer really has to start respecting the Marine Marauder on the map.
This is a really important moment as well with this Prism coming out. This is such stock standard play out of Deer. You have the blink, you slow down the bio from coming across the map, and you nail them with the Prism the second they move out. Now, if you look at this, see the drop coming in plus the defense at the natural. So if he does a full-on attack, then this drop does reasonably well. I mean, wow, really well planned out here from Deer.
I don't think he'll be able to get this Stim in time, but the idea was definitely there. However, this is a lot that's coming in over here. It looks like Cure might have to give up the third here. I'm sorry, I mean Deer might have to give up the third.
Yeah, and I think he already kind of knew he was going to have to do that, but the amount of damage being done in Cure's base.
Oh, good. Gets concussive shell as well.
Massive.
Yeah, this is one of those moments where you're right on top of the production facilities, and everything that comes out for Terran isn't exactly strong enough. It hasn't united with the rest of the units to do that much.
Oh! My God. Just brutal.
We actually have the army going all the way back. We're going to have a drop here in the main. Guardian Shield coming down here, getting a lot of this infantry. Is this actually just too much?
I think it might be.
Yeah.
I really do.
The Warp Prism is still alive. Oh, you gotta shut it down.
Okay. Finally does shut that down, but 20 SCVs going down for a canceled third.
Yeah.
And not just 20 SCV, like, well, I guess, you know, a lot of Protoss units die during the harassment. It's only Zealots, though, so it's not the biggest deal. He doesn't even have a third command center started at this point. Ugh.
I don't know about this slow push across the entire map, but it might work. We'll see.
Well, if he gets a couple good side storms, look how many storms he has ready.
Yeah, this is quite a bit.
But if he can pick all this off, what a big deal that becomes.
All right, the storms have all been used up. I'm kind of surprised by this attack, but I guess
look at
he's so far ahead.
He's going to get all the medevacs.
Yeah.
He gets like every medevac. You know what? It's like, it is a weird attack.
It is not the cleanest attack, but
weird.
I mean, if it works, it's okay.
Well, he had so much Psystorm and everything was already very bruised and the energy was used up on medevacs and stuff. So I kind of get it, right? Like, getting all the medevacs, I think, is gigantic because now you're sitting there and you know that they're not about to drop you. That's for sure.
Okay, there's a glitch in the Matrix Certosis.
Yep.
Another drop here in the main. And with the Vikings out here, you really can't hold this position for very long. And so this might be another little victory here for Cure. One that he definitely needs in a game that's going this direction. As it seems like Deer is going to be able to take this game. He should be able to bring this to a victory here. I mean, he's economically ahead. He has just better tech, better army. A lot of the infrastructure for Cure was destroyed in that attack.
And let's not forget, he already has +2 armor against 1/1. There's no armory for Cure, right? So when +3 finishes, that is 2 additional armor upgrades. If you are 2 armor upgrades up with charge lots, you will kill anything. +2 armor Zealots kill DCs, as far as I know. Like, it just, it's crazy what they can pull off.
Okay, medevacs are moving out now. Now they went right around that army, but then you have to ask the question, can Protoss just walk in here and crush everything? Because that's a decent amount of supply that's just not there. Nice blink away. Guardian shields on. The Marauders going behind the command center to get some cover against the Zealots. Here comes that drop now. And already, oh my God, the feedback.
Oh man, storms. Let's see what he gets done with this drop. Like, I don't think it's going to be enough. Because this army, with that many Psystorms in it, it feels like it can't be stopped, right?
Well, this is so much Psystorm.
Oh,
Warp Prism's not warping in yet, but it will be soon, I'm sure of that.
Yeah, warp in more units here as well.
GG. Yep, Deer takes game 1, nicely done. Okay,
this was a really, really interesting game for me because I think that Deer played very stock standard, okay? The Sentry and the Prism was maybe his little flair, his little touch to it, but the way that he went Blink, got the Prism, right? You slow down the incoming attack no matter what it is, and then you hit the Prism in the main, and that kind of divides the Terran attention. And then he immediately set up a cannon and shield battery in his natural, right?
Yeah.
Because he's looking at this saying, okay, there's no siege tanks or anything. As long as I don't lose my third, right? Because if the army comes the whole way, it should be able to kill the third 100% of the time. But then he can't kill your natural, and your Prism's doing a lot. So it put Kira into a tough spot. He didn't have any real anti-warp Prism in his main base, right? He had like 1 turret on the side that Deer skipped, and the Prism just warped in way too many Zealots way too many times. So a very interesting game, and I feel like Kier could have gotten himself into a better spot there, but Deer just, I mean, that's precise PvT play.
Yeah, really beautifully done. Game number 2 has just loaded up. Cure versus Deer. Let's go.
마틴류 GSL 세지만 리제너레이션 게임이 시작됩니다. 카이로스 정션 게임 준비 완료. 지네어 그린윙스 큐어. 뉴비 디아.
So a slightly different opening here. Deer is sending out his probe early on.
One thing I want to bring up just real quick here, because
Yeah.
I think we're starting to see a bit of a theme here strategically from some of these Protoss players, is that because the Terran doesn't want to really move out on the map until they have stim, but you see the Terran kind of getting ready to poke out, they're sort of edging out on the map because they want to try to put some pressure on the Protoss. It seems like the Protosses are now able to time this out to get the Warp Prism in there and warp in by the tech lab that's getting stim.
Yeah, we've seen that
It's like
multiple times.
it's funny. It's like the army is never actually there to defend the tech lab because you're waiting for that stim to finish so you can actually finally get your turn on the map and attack in. And even though that timing seemed to be a few seconds off, it didn't look like there was any feasible way to kill that tech lab off. Same idea.
Yeah.
Just getting in there and doing that damage right away.
Well, it's,
'cause if you knock out the tech lab, if you knock out the tech lab and get rid of stim, I mean, there's no way that Terran can try to contest your third base's Protoss at all.
Yeah, it's quite true, and I do wonder what it would look like if Cure had immediately made a Viking that last game as he was moving out. Like, I know that he made 2 medevacs, boost them up to catch the army that was already pushing Stalkers back. He gave up a few units to be out on the map, and then I think he boosted 2 more medevacs to it. So I think that that's reasonable as well, but it was truly the amount of warping rounds that we saw in the main base that really messed up Cure's game. Because obviously forcing the cancel on the third base, or killing the third base rather, is a strong moment, but when you're taking that much damage in response to it, the Protoss is not going to lose a game like that, I would say.
Okay, once more we've got Widow Mines coming up here. Starport just now started up. And yeah, I don't know. pretty slow game to start things off, Artosis.
Yeah. A little bit of harassment on both sides, a little bit of scouting on both sides as well. Reaper gets a very important scout, sees that it is actually a robo first. This is something that Deer does very, very well. He's quite good at the Colossus tech games against Terran. To go into a pretty quick Colossus in a sub 5-minute third Nexus with that and defend everything pretty well with well-placed observers. But the thing is, we should have had Cure, and of course, because he's on Jin Air, it's like 5 times as much that we should have had Cure already studied Deer's play. So if he goes for that, he should already kind of know even where the observers are, right? So,
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
The Colossus is really good at actually confronting specifically the Marines, especially if you get a certain number of them. You could start to one-shot the infantry, and then it's like every time they stim and dive in, they automatically lose a chunk of their army right before they can even really fire. So it's a very smart way to play it up.
So he is going into that Colossus tech.
Yep.
And so we'll be seeing a third Nexus most likely coming up in the next 40 seconds or so. But Siege Tank on the way. It's a little bit different from Cure this game. Still has that 3 Widow Mine drop, though.
Okay. Here comes that drop. Now remember, last time this did not fare well. You have to know that Deer knows the exact moment on the clock, 4 minutes, 30 seconds, when this drop would come in.
Yep.
Oh, okay, gets the medevac. Sacks 1 Stalker. Oh.
Yeah, well, I would say kill on a couple Stalkers there. It's probably better than what we saw last time, right?
Okay, and 2 probes
And 2
here.
probes. Yeah, well, it's certainly better
But
now.
the medevac was shot down.
Oh, that's
this
true,
time.
yeah.
And the
Yeah, good
medevac's
point.
actually pretty important.
Yeah. Well,
You want to have a lot of those medevacs banked up here for later on.
well, especially considering you're not on a reactor tech or a reactor starport as of yet.
Right.
But the Raven's on the way, which will deal with the Colossus tech reasonably well. Now, does Deer just go ahead and take that third, I would imagine? Yeah, there it is. Slow down slightly because of the Widow Mine drop. You know, obviously, you're losing a little bit of income and have your attention diverted, but gets that third Nexus up in plenty of time. A little bit of counter pressure, doesn't really get much done, but even seeing the Siege Tank tells you a lot about what Cure is up to.
Yeah, very true. Here comes that Colossus out now. The push beginning here with the Deer. Oh, he wasn't watching. Oh, man. Okay, so he's going to start barreling forward.
This is going to be interesting, right? He doesn't have stim or anything like that. It's
Right.
just a bunch of naked Marines with a couple siege tanks.
Yeah.
The real key here, I would say, though, is that Raven. You gotta disable the Colossus at the right time. That's why he's coming way out to eat it, because he wants that disable now.
Yeah, he's actually trying to get them to almost free fire it.
Yeah, see how much damage he puts on it? He's like,
okay, it's disabled.
Okay.
But this is, Deer, I think, is being pretty smart about this. He's on the run, and basically that disabling has worn off now.
Yeah.
But the tanks are in siege mode, so there's that problem as well.
I think that you can, I think this is a cancel. Oh, he missed
it.
disable.
Yeah.
Well, it's still not engaging until the end of the disable anyways, so I guess it's fine.
Oh, okay, that second Colossus is coming up. And from here, I mean, this is just War of the Worlds, boys and girls. That attack was completely shut down.
Yeah, that's really rough.
The fact that both Colossi survived.
And the Nexus survived.
Yeah.
When you see a very hurt main mining building and you lose your army, worst feeling in the world.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, in every sense, Cure's strategy did not work.
Yes.
And so, we're going to have the counter push here, but Cure is going to double down. He's actually sending these medevacs. It looks like he wants to try to go snipe the Nexus with his drop. That being said, though, is there actually anything back at home really for Cure?
Gosh, it's only 2 Colossus and a couple Stalkers. He's going to take some damage, but I think he'll be all right. Oh, the force field on the ramp would be huge.
It would have been huge for sure.
Yeah.
He did it.
Oh, good mine right there. But yeah, like this will eventually be cleaned up. You might even want to think about recalling that. Because if he loses all this stuff right here, I mean, geez, he's getting more done than I thought he would with this small group of units.
Yeah. Oh, there's that stim. That stim timing again, Artosis.
Yeah.
That's the whole trick. You want your Colossus to walk up the ramp and fire down at the tech lab there.
What am I watching right now? Is this Wings of Liberty or something? Like, 3 Colossus are just sitting in the natural, killing everything by themselves. Oh my god.
Okay, the eBay goes down. Stim is done. Oh, goodbye.
Good recall. Well,
wow.
It's not a game that's going perfectly for Cure, but it's nice that he has his third up in mining during this. He lost, what, 9 SCVs and then some chunks of army? And look at this force that Deer has built up. That is very powerful.
Let's see how the engagement goes, but I actually think this, if he reinforces this correctly and he doesn't get sloppy with how he moves out, like, for instance, losing all those Stalkers, I think he can actually roll. I think he can roll him.
Think so?
I think so.
How many gates does he actually have right now? Does he only have 3 gates?
I'm not sure.
I think he only has 3 gates. So, like, that might be the saving grace here.
I thought it was much more than that, to be honest, but I think you might be right.
He actually has 5 gates.
Okay.
Well, he is adding a couple more now.
One thing that Cure's been doing pretty intelligently is not really making many Marines at all, because Marines are terrible against the Colossi, and instead making a ton of Marauders.
Well, with charge and armor upgrades on the way here. Wow, he's already up in upgrades as well. Look at that, 1-1 against just 1-0 for Terran. Loading up those medevacs. What is the plan right now for Cure?
I think he's just trying to stay back and not die, to be honest.
Well, he's going to have to do more than that in a minute here, I think. Drops off a few Zealots here at the 3rd.
Okay, a pickup. And then the War Prism flies back.
Ooh. Ooh, that was a good kill.
Nice.
That was good. That is a lot of money right
Cure
there.
needed that.
Yeah.
He needed a play like that for sure.
Okay, so a bigger army right now for Cure. Like you mentioned, a lot of Marauders within it. But the amount of sentries in this army makes me feel like it's going to be hard to deal with those Colossus still.
Is there anything actually in the main right now?
No. But
okay,
he spots
but Zealots do spot it.
Well, at least he stops this other harassment, right? That's something.
Yeah, that's true. I think Cure, though, needs a win as far as like eliminating either some key tech or taking out a base or something here, right?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right on those 2 things. Like either he gets rid of the Colossus or he kills a base or something.
So, Psystorm's finishing. The problem right now for Terran is the Protoss tech is getting pretty sexy here.
Yeah.
Templars, lots of sentries, Colossi.
Yeah. And the fact that he's about to have +2 armor, and he has Psystorm and Colossus. Oh, this is a crazy move right here, but Cure dropping a huge amount of Marauders. I guess he learned that one from Maru.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Wow.
Did a bit better than I thought he would, to be honest.
It really goes to show you the difference if you just drop Marauders out of medevacs with no Marines, is these guys can sustain a little bit longer.
If those were all Marines, everything would have died already.
Yeah.
Easily.
It would have just been this skid mark on the ground in the Protoss's face.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, this drop, it does okay. Like, I think it was overall good for Cure. And I believe during this, Cure just ran away with the rest of his units, which would be very important because there was a big enough army at the third base to clear out anything that got attacked with. Now, more Vikings are being made. There's still 2 Colossi, and he's getting out Ghosts. These Ghosts are so key right now. If he can stop the Psy Storms, he still has a real shot in this game.
Okay, the War Prism's going to try to loop down here to the bottom right as this attack comes in here from the north.
Yeah, that's a scary angle that he's coming in from as well.
Okay, this is like so much for Terran. I'm actually surprised even attack didn't get out of there right now.
Well, he's trying to...
Okay,
there's still a lot of Storm.
Yeah, I thought it got all of them. It only got 1 with the EMP.
Yeah. Oh, a drop into the main base, and now he can just run away with his army. What do you do here? Do you try to chase the army as Cure? Do you just turn everything around and deal with the drop?
I like the Impulse EMP on the 2 Zealots that were at the ramp of the main. Okay, I think that Deer might have just gone into a position that he should never have gone to here. Well, but that being said, these Zealots are really shredding up the main. Is the War Prism still in the main? I didn't see it.
I didn't see, but the amount of Psy Storms he's eating chasing this army right now is breaking my heart.
Oh my God.
Those Zealots.
Oh my God, they're actually getting the eBay down here too. We didn't quite catch that on camera, but this is...
there's too much going on. Okay, I think he'll finally clear this, but losing that +2 attack is pretty crucial. He's been down that upgrade for a bit.
And 19 SCVs killed here as well.
Loses the reactor on the starport, so even his high-tech unit's going to be hard to pump out.
48 workers to 70 probes. SCVs to probes, I should say. Now, I think the only real victory that, Deer, I should say that Cure had back there was that he killed off, I believe it was 2 Colossi. But I don't know if the Colossi are as much of a factor in this game anymore. They kind of have a time and a place.
Yeah, I think that this has turned into an upgrade game.
Yeah.
He's down by 3 upgrades right now.
Well, when you have this many Marauders, that's when Immortals are the name of the game.
Yeah, and look at that. Some great EMPs, but another counter coming to this third. I think he's got to just lift that up.
If you could storm this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does lift it up immediately. Flies in over here. The Vikings going to go ahead and land. We don't have a lot of splash damage, but again, the upgrades. If you're up 3 upgrades, that is so significant. Looks like Deer just going to give up that base.
I think right now, Cure is just barely hanging on here. Even though Cure is taking out a base here or there, it's always Deer that's slightly ahead. That EMP on those Templars is so important.
He sees the recall. This is time to get out of dodge for sure.
Okay, I think that he might have fished out this army a little bit too far.
But you know what? This brings it down to a more manageable situation for Cure in some ways. I know he just took some decent damage, but he killed off some probes. He killed off a Nexus. There's not a lot of minerals left for Deer to mine easily, right? That's quite a big deal. And when you look at these actual armies, oh God, it's really, only the upgrades are really killing me here. If these were even upgrades, I'd give this to Cure.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, Artosis. Also, I don't think there's anything that would incentivize Deer to try to move out right now. I think that he just needs to stay back and wait. Because Cure needs to come up with a solution pretty badly. Now, this is something, I guess these stray workers he guns down. But
no, this is nice.
I think Cure's actually going to try to come in here and just go for the kill.
Okay, well, he can do retreating EMPs just like we see retreating storms. That is something pretty powerful here. I'd love to see some. Oh my God! Psy Storm drop. He almost picks the Prism, but doesn't quite get it. Psy Storm's absolutely everywhere, plus those upgrades. That's going to be that for Cure's
Yeah, that was an old technique that we just saw used there, where you pocket the Templars inside of a shuttle or a War Prism, and then you drop them out just so they can't be sniped in time. And I think this game is going to seesaw with Deer pushing all the way across the map and closing this game out.
Well, you have that big strength of the upgrades to carry you through at this point. GG, Deer does end up beating Cure here. I mean, that was really well played from Deer, as I expected. I think that Cure played really, really well. There was just a couple little things that if he had changed slightly, would have been awesome for him. And I think that that could have been a couple of games that he could have won even.
Okay, Deer looking as good as we had heard he was. Cure is hurting, though. I mean, going up against Hero, that's no easy opponent.
It's going to be a very different series, I think. Hero is much more aggressive in this matchup than Deer is. Deer right now plays awesome macro games. Can Kier stop what Deer has coming?
We're going to go to our next match after this break. Stick around.